Hello everyone, in this video I will be discussing various approaches to inserting F2L pairs. This is such a great technique because it's extremely simple to learn, it is flexible, and because it comes up quite frequently during solves. Now the purpose of this is to manipulate other pieces on the cube to make your next step easier. For example, we have this F2L pair. Of course we could insert it as we normally would, but as you can see we end up with a horrible case for our next pair. So if your lookup is good enough, you can anticipate this and instead insert this pair differently, resulting in a better case for the next pair. This technique can also be used while inserting the last F2L pair to orient more edges in the last layer, which in turn generally improves the OLL case. For example, in this case, if we were to insert this pair normally, we would get an OLL with no edges. If, however, we did a sledgehammer to insert this pair, we can orient a couple of these edges to get a somewhat better OLL case. For the sake of this video, I will only be demonstrating a few simple 3 to 4 move triggers for inserting F2L pairs. Keep in mind, however, that these are very flexible. In the future, you may find yourself manipulating these triggers to simplify your cases even further. That said, here are the triggers. Keep in mind that all of these are only applicable when you have a pair already made in the top layer. Moving on, because these are all extremely simple and intuitive, I will not be going over the mirrors of these triggers. Instead, I'll leave that up to you to figure out. Now, before concluding this video, I'd first like to show you some more examples of how I use this technique during my solves. Notice how the best solution to each case isn't always obvious, and how in some situations there's no clear best solution at all. So we have a couple options in this case. First, we can insert it normally, and this is a pretty good case. We do need to do a cube rotation though, and of course we have to try to limit that as much as possible. Doing this isn't very practical. Another way to do this, which again isn't very practical, but it does show you how you can manipulate these triggers, is by doing this, starting a sledgehammer, moving this over, then finishing the sledgehammer, then you have this pair. Again, we have a couple options. In this case, we can insert it normally. This is a decent case, go like that. But we can also first insert these two and then insert this by going like this and then inserting this. Again, in this case, we have a couple options. We can insert it normally, which gives a decent case, but we do have to do a cube rotation. So another way to insert it is to move it back here and go like this. You can see it changed the orientation of this corner, so then we can insert this without doing a cube rotation. And that's probably the best way of doing this. We can also do a sledgehammer, but it gives almost the same case as before. In this case, what is, in my opinion, the best solution is not very obvious, but I'll show it to you anyway. Now first you can just insert it normally, which gives a decent case, but once again you have to do a cube rotation. So another way to do this is to do a sledgehammer. You can see that these get paired up and we can easily insert it here. So that is all for this lesson. Hopefully it was somewhat informative and could help you guys out. I really appreciate all feedback, so if you have any suggestions or criticism for this video, I would really like to hear it. That said, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.